All right, so now we're going to look at how to go from point slope to slope intercept form. So let me just label this on top so I can see that this is continued from the last video. Okay, so we're going to go from point slope form to slope intercept form. So here is point slope form, so the form that we just learned, right? So point slope. And we're going to show the steps on how to get it to look like slope intercept form. So remember that slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So our goal is to get it to look like that. So if I'm going to get it to look like that, first things first, I need to get rid of the parentheses. There's no parentheses in this form, right? So let's get rid of those by distributing this m. So when you distribute this m, your problem should look something like this. You should still have the same thing written over here, but now you should have m times x minus whatever you got right here, right? This should be calculated as some kind of number, right? That's on the end here. And then your last step is to add the y1. And the reason why is because if you notice in slope intercept form, there's only a y by itself on this side. So we need to get y by itself. That's the last step here. So we're going to add the y1 to both sides. And that gives me something that looks like this. Y equals mx. And now we get this huge mess right here. But this should calculate to some kind of number, right? All of this should equal b. So my answer should actually look like this when I'm done. Y equals mx plus b, slope intercept form, right? Okay, let's do an example so you can kind of see this practically. Maybe these notes are not helpful to you. Maybe just having an example is actually going to be more helpful. All right, so first things first, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 3/4 to each of these numbers on the inside here. When I do that, I end up getting y minus 8 equals 3/4 x minus 3. That's what I got when I multiplied 3/4 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 4 equals 3. Okay? And then the next step, or the last step I should say, is to add 8 to both sides. When I do that, negative 3 plus 8 makes 5. And there you go. It's in slope intercept form. Okay, so there's an example. But let's take a story problem, and I want you to work through this story problem on your own first, because this is why you would want to do this. You would want to start off by setting up a problem. If you knew the slope and you knew a point on the line, you would want to set it up in point slope form, because that's the easiest form to set it up in. But then if you have to figure out something like what the y-intercept is, like if you need to figure out what the starting value of something was, you would probably want to change it to slope intercept form and then identify what that starting value is. Okay, so I'm going to give you a story problem where this is relevant. So if it costs $12 per game, and we're just going to pretend this is like, I don't know, let's say it's a game of, I can't think of anything super relevant to this, maybe like a round of go-karts or something like that. Let's say it costs $12, or bowling, actually. Bowling would be a great example. Let's say it costs $12 to bowl per game, or $12 for a round of go-karts. And then there's some kind of entry fee. With an entry fee, and then you realize that you have to spend $40 after playing 3 games. What is that entry fee? So you might be able to look at this and kind of figure it out just using some mental math, but what I want you to do is I want you to set this up in point slope form, and then change it to slope intercept form and identify what is that entry fee. Okay, so go ahead and work on this on your own and then come back. And go ahead and pause your video. And let's go ahead and continue. So looking at this, I'll take this one step at a time here. So this is kind of what I wrote. I kind of wrote down all the important information. X is going to represent the number of games. Also, I apologize for the sound of the vacuum in the other room. They're doing some cleaning next door. So just ignore that. X represents the number of games. Y represents the cost after playing those games, okay? $12 per game sounds a lot like a slope to me, right? Anytime we have the word per, that usually indicates some kind of rate of change or slope, okay? So I know that when I play 3 games, so if I'm saying X is the number of games, if I play 3 games, then it costs $40. Okay, so I have a point 340. Okay, and then I'm just going to identify that if I'm trying to figure out the entry fee into whatever establishment this is, I need to find the y-intercept, the starting value, the entry fee, right? What's my fee when I've played 0 games, right? So this is my fee. The fee when I've played 0 games, right? This is like the starting amount, okay? That's how we know that's the y-intercept that we're looking for. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to set this up in point slope form. So I'm going to go ahead and do y minus y1, which is 40. So y minus 40 is equal to the slope, which is 12, times x minus x1, which is 3. Okay, so now I've got this in point slope form, but now I need to change it to slope intercept form to find the y-intercept, right? There's no y-intercept here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add 40 to both sides. So when not that. First I'm going to distribute the 12. When I do that, I get 12x minus 36. Then I add the 40 to both sides. When I add 40 to both sides, I get y equals 12x plus 4. And this plus 4 is my entry fee. This is my y-intercept. This is when I've played 0 games, but it cost me $4, even though I haven't played any games. So since this is my money before I've played any games, this has to be my entry fee of $4. Okay? And that's it for 2.6.